Welcome to lesson 4, where we're going to be talking about numeric values. So if you guys remember in good old math class, when you set something up, your teacher wants your expression on the left side. So you have int x equals 3, and don't forget to force lowercase that. So you always want the variable on the left side, even though technically 3 equals x is saying the same thing, but computers are stupid. They're not going to read it that way. So if you put in a program like 3 equals x, it's not going to figure that out. It has no idea what you're talking about. So you have to have your variable on the left side. So just for reference, variable on the left side, can't have your numbers on the left side because it's illegal. Okay, now that we all know what the skeleton is, I'm going to name my new class lesson 4, which is the same as my Java project that I created. But if you look here, he says, what method stubs would you like to create? There is an option right here. It says public static void main string arc. So go ahead and check that, hit finish, and it pops it right into your program. Go ahead and readjust the brackets, and you can delete this comment. It just tells you have to write a program. And I'm also going to put in my comment block up there. So let's start off this program by declaring a couple of doubles. So I'm going to call one P and one J. And remember, you can declare 2 things in one line. And let's initialize J in the next line to be 8.426. Don't forget your semicolon. So right now, I'm going to save this, but this says that there's an error. This is not going to compile. So a little vocab for you guys. Compiling is basically a successful translation of the code you wrote into a language that the computer understands. And running a program compiles the program and then executes it. So right now, our program is not compiling because there's an error. And this error says that we have 2 markers at this line. P is not used and J is not used. So we did start using J, but it's saying that P is not being used. So we need to fix that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down to the next line and say P equals J, and then end that with a semicolon. So what this does is it assigns the value of J to P. And then we can come down to our next line and print P. And then if we hit run, oh, this does not compile because we have an error. I misspelled the word print. And line. All right. So now if we try running it again, it's printing 8.426, which is P, because we assigned the value of J to P. Now, if we swap the two and we said J is equal to P, this is basically saying 8.426 is equal to P, which, as we already know, is illegal. So if you try to run it, it's not going to go. So make sure you fix it. That's much better. Now, here's something that you may have been wondering. Since we can declare on the same line, can you initialize on the same line? You can, as long as they're all the same type. So if you have like lion equals 5, tiger equals 3, and bear, you don't have to initialize all of them. You only have to declare them. We initialized 2 of them. We just declared bear. So you can do that all in the same line. So here's just a little reminder for your notes. Now, how many of you remember a little thing called please excuse my dear Aunt Sally? So PEMDAS does still apply in Java. Aren't you just so thrilled that it came back to haunt you? I mean, just not really haunt, you love it secretly. So in Java, you obey the laws of PEMDAS, which you might remember is parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, and subtract. But if you have something like multiply and divide, which are at the same equal precedence, or add and subtract, you just do it in order. So in Java, there are certain ways to actually write out mathematical operations. So multiply is the one that you probably need to figure out the most, is Shift 8 on your keyboard. And divide is the backslash right next to your shift button. But there's also another one, and this one's a little odd. And it's the percent sign, and it means modulus. So what modulus does is it gives you the remainder. Like if you had 5 divided by 2, the answer would be 2 remainder 1. So your answer would be 1. Or if you had 20 modulus 7, your answer would be 2 remainder 6. So that answer would be 6. So let's do a quick example of some of our mathematical operations. So if you have double x equals 2 times 3, and then you print x and run it, it gives you 6.0 because we made it a double. So that's okay, it's just going to give you a decimal. So now if you do 2 modulus 3, if you think about it, it's going to give you 0 remainder 2. So when you run it, it does give you 2. If you do 2 plus 3, it should give you 5. Now, if you have any issues getting those mathematical operations to work, please let me know as soon as you can. Otherwise, you're ready to move on to the second video for lesson 4.